Welcome to TalkersOfGeeks.com. Justin here, back with more film reviews, and today we're going to be reviewing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. As always, I give you a brief synopsis, so without further ado, here we go. After years of being sheltered from the human world, the Turtle Brothers set out to win the hearts of New Yorkers and be accepted as normal teenagers. Their new friend, April O'Neil, helps them take on a mysterious crime syndicate, but they soon get in over their heads when an army of mutants is unleashed upon them. And I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was pretty good. I had fun with it. It's definitely not for me, because I'm a different era, different generation. But it is nice to see a Turtles for a new generation. So I'm really curious to see how my students and my nephew, when he gets older, and people in general of a younger demographic are going to take to this film and see how it holds up over time. Especially, this is the most New York Ninja Turtles film I have ever seen. And what I mean by that is that it definitely has that style of New York. It has the talk, it has the walk, it has the attitude of New York. And as a New Yorker, I respect it. I would salute you, and they even included a Tim's joke in there. So just to make sure that you know you're part of New York. People in my generation might find that as cringe, but I guarantee you the younger generation is going to love it. This, as I said, is a Turtles for a new generation because there's things that they like, such as TikTok is mentioned, YouTube, and influencers and things of that nature. This is for them, but that doesn't mean that an adult or someone who grew up with the Turtles since its inception, like me, can't enjoy this film. There's enough story here and a really good heartfelt one as well. Not as heartfelt as the 90s, but it is a good story here as well. And what the story theme for this film is, it's about acceptance. And as the synopsis says, the Turtles want to be accepted and they just want to be viewed as, just regular teenagers, even though they might be mutants. And so throughout the film, they have this idea as if they do enough good in the city and if they save the city from this big plot that's happening with this big bad known as Superfly, then the people in New York will see them as heroes and they will be accepted into the human world because Splinter didn't have good experiences with humans, so therefore he banned the Turtles from ever going up to the surface world unless it's to get supplies. So Turtles do supply runs, but them being teenagers, they go out and experience the human world. And that's all I'm going to say about the plot. I will say that it does a really good job focusing on that theme because every single character in here has to learn about acceptance and being themselves and just kind of living with who they are and accepting who they are, and really kind of just hope that whoever you are, you're going to be accepted by people that see you for who you are. And they did a really good job explaining that. Little kids obviously might not pick that up. All they're going to see is the great action that you see here. They're going to see the animation. They're going to see the references to the YouTubers, the TikTokers, and certain slangs such as sus and things of that nature. So for them, they're not probably the little ones. They're probably not going to pick up on it. Teenagers will definitely relate to certain issues that the Turtles go through, of course, when it comes to bullying and things like that, when it comes to April O'Neil. So they do a good job of getting their theme across without sounding preachy. It doesn't beat you over the head. It is based off of the realm of what the characters are going through. So I do appreciate that. As far as the dislikes that I don't like about the film, I feel like what they did with the villains, they were very undercooked except for Superfly. But I would say villains such as Bebop, Rocksteady, and Leatherhead, they were misused in this. And I'm not going to spoil how they were misused. All I will have to say is that I feel like they dropped the ball, and these three characters should have been saved for the sequel because Bebop and Rocksteady are threats on their own. Leatherhead is a threat on their own. So for them to just kind of play supporting cast of the bad guys, so the bad guys Superfly, and then something happens where the Turtles and them clearly kind of not really enemies. They actually kind of cool with each other. I'm curious to see how they're going to turn them, heels. So I'm curious to see where they're gonna go with this. There is an after credit scene that might make things make sense, but we'll have to wait for a sequel if it gets that. From what I understand, that they might be doing a show based on this on a streaming service to bridge the gaps, like they're doing with a lot of shows these days. Far as the acting goes, the acting is really good. Voice acting is really good. You got an all-star cast here, such as Paul Rudd, John Cena, Seth Rogen. Ice Cube is the villain, Superfly. So there's some really good acting in here, but the main cast, the four boys who play the Turtles, because they actually casted teenagers for this role, they did a hell of a job. The chemistry is in there. And I saw behind the scenes footage is, with voice acting, they usually record separately. Besides Batman, the animated series, when all the actors were there in the same room, they did the same thing here. The Turtles, they were all in the same room so they can really feed off each other. And it gave it that such a camaraderie and authenticity that you really feel that these kids are actually brothers. So hell of a job voice casting. So salute to all the actors here. April O'Neil also does a really great job. She has an emotional arc as well. Nothing like tear jerking like that, but for those who are in high school who might be bullied and stuff like that, you're going to relate to April's desire to be accepted and the reasons of why she wants to be accepted and why she's helping the Turtles. She also has her own motives for it. Jackie Chan as Splinter was great. I loved I love the little wink of how the Turtles, I won't spoil the little cameos there of how the Turtles learn how to do martial arts. I mean, you got Jackie Chan in there, put two and two together, how they might have learned how to do martial arts. But overall, it's a fun movie, and I had to talk about the animation because a lot of people are comparing it to Into the Spider-Verse. It might be aesthetically inspired by Into the Spider-Verse, but they take this type of style of animation and they make it their own, honestly. I really didn't think of Spider-Verse watching it. They do enough with the color grading, the way the frame rate works, the way the animation works. They do enough so you're not thinking, oh my God, it's a Spider-Man. It's its own thing. Trust me. I would say, though, one of my biggest complaints with the film, besides the way the villains were treated, is the fact that the music choice was a little bit weird. I get to use Annie Up for the beginning of the scene, which I'm not going to obviously spoil. That made sense by MOP, but then they had other music choices that kind of not really kid appropriate, or just kind of not for the scene that's going for. Like, there's one scene where they had ODB's Baby I Like It Raw, and I'm like, usually back in the days, and if me growing up, movie soundtracks actually had to fit a theme or the scene. The music choices now is just like, they feels like, yo, this is taking place in New York. We gotta get as much New York hip hop, more of that New Jack swing, or more of that as possible to really give that authenticity of New York. And I respect that, but the certain choices that they made was kind of like, it doesn't really fit for a kid's film, and it doesn't really fit for the particular scene that they're going for. But minor than that complaint, I had fun with it. I'm gonna give this, you know what? I'm gonna give it a 4 stars out of 5. It's a good time. Your kids are gonna love it. It's the new Turtles for a new generation. Different interpretations. I always like I was telling my friend, I see the Turtles movies sometimes like Bond films. Like, when it comes to different iterations of it, like someone takes over after a couple of years, they get their own twist and own on spin on things, but the core story always usually remains the same of their origins. So I'm down with it. It's cool. It's the new Turtles for a new generation. I think the young kids are going to like it. I think the teens are going to relate to some of the inside jokes and slangs. We'll see if it holds up in a couple of years when these teenagers are actually adults and the kids watching it are in middle school. We'll see if this still holds up. This is Justin from MutantGeeks.com saying, what did you think of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem? Comment below, let me know. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Helps out the channel a lot. If you're watching this on TheTacosAndGeeks.com, by all means, please browse our website and check out all that we do here. And thank you for your support. Later days, I'll catch you on the next review. Peace.